Awesome. Okay, well, welcome to episode 11 of the Creation Wars. I'm Ollie Dale from Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, backing me up in the background, we have Stuart Davidson from just outside Edinburgh. We have Jack Thatcher, who is also filling in for Tiff this week. Hi, Jack. Jack's from the San Francisco Bay Area, and you're in Robin Griggswood's cohort, is that right?
That's right, sir.
You're still there? What level are you on?
I am currently at level 11.
Nice. Sphere 1. Good work.
Yes, sir.
So, in the order of how we're going to go today, we have David. David Marks is from a very pretty place in Montana, USA. Hello, David.
Hello. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course. And then Gina, you'll be second today. Now, I have to read this because it's lines long. Gina DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo, is that right? Did I get it?
Yes, that's it. You got it.
AKA Gina D is a cinematographer as well as a photographer and master in the Arcanum. Gina lives on the central coast of California, likes long walks and chocolate. Oh, okay, cool. I like it. And runs a general photography cohort currently. And you and me are going to be video masters one day, eh, Gina?
Yes, we are. We're creating this thing as we go.
Amen. Les comes from Perth, Western Australia, where it's currently, I don't know, breakfast or something?
It's 10 o'clock and about nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's pretty warm already.
Yeah, Australia is hot and Perth is ridiculous. So welcome from Perth. And leading up the charge, Claire. Hi, Claire. Welcome, Claire. It's great to have you on today.
She's very, very glad to be here.
Claire and Mason come from the Portland, Oregon area. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly, in the Portland area, yes.
Exactly. Awesome. I've been there once. I'll be there again. So that's pretty exciting. This is the Creation Wars. This is a chance for the masters to let their hair down a little bit and give each other a little bit of a poke in the ribs, find out who's ticklish. Each master is bringing the work of an apprentice to be critiqued by the other masters and then torn to pieces. So we're all looking forward to another amazing episode of the Creation Wars. Now we have something slightly different today. We have had a suggestion by an apprentice in Glenn Guy's cohort that one of the things we could do is a critique at the beginning of the show by the masters, and actually most of the masters don't know this is going to happen, so this is pretty fun. Where we're going to critique an image, and then the author of that image is going to go away and edit it, and it's called the re-edit. And by the end of the show, when we announce the winner, hopefully the re-edit will be complete, and we'll get to see the author's second attempt at said image. So, Stuart, I think you have the images ready, don't you?
I can do. Yep. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. This is the bit where I fire you and get someone else for next week.
Well, you could have warned me that it was me that was sharing, but, you know, if you want to give me the blame, that's fine.
That's excellent.
Okay, so here it comes.
So you're just going to say the last one or all three of them?
Don't call out the director while we're on air, Stu. That's not cool.
He was the one throwing me under the bus, so...
That's right. So this is the image here. It's inspired for the Creation Wars. He'd hoped that his master Glenn was going to pick it one week and bring it along, but he didn't. So this is a chance to get some feedback. He's trying to create a striking visual image that asks questions of the viewer. Now this is actually literally down the road from where I am, ironically. It's a place down on the Auckland waterfront, and Guy is the apprentice, and he's actually an Aucklander as well, so it's pretty exciting to have a Kiwi representing today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and the masters are going to warm up, get their tongues flapping, get their vocal cords ready by critiquing this image as if you were critiquing it for the Creation Wars. A couple of sentences each, and hopefully constructive criticism that Guy can take away, work on, and bring back by the end of the show. So, David, you're up first.
All right. Well, this is, to me, a really striking, really beautiful image. I love the warm-cool contrast. I love the lines radiating into the center. If I could change one thing, I love the detail that we can see in the windows on the left, but that same level of detail seems a little missing in the line of windows on the right. If it's possible to draw in those highlights, I'd love to have just a little more over here in that line of windows coming in from the right side. Beautiful photo, though.
Thank you, David. Gina.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was going to say as well. Is what David said about the detail in the lights. And first of all, let me say that I'm very much drawn to the image. I love how it pulls me right into the center, and I really feel like I'm hovering over this space that I'm going to just fall right into. It's really cool. And in addition to what David had said, the other thing that caught my eye was on the pillar, on the upper left quadrant pillar. It seems like if it was just a little bit taken down some of the exposure in part of it, so it kind of matches up a little bit more with the bottom right quadrant. It feels like it's just maybe just a tinge too bright in there, not quite as warm, that nice warm spot. That would maybe add a little bit more symmetry to it, and just possibly could try to even maybe tweak it just a hair rotation, a degree or two to the left. I know it would cut the size down a little bit here and there, but it might just bring that left line in a little bit straighter, but that's about it for me.
Okay, Gina, just double checking here. We're in New Zealand. We use the metric measurements. So could you translate tinge for me from imperial into metrics?
Yeah, it's kind of like
smidgen.
A titch.
Oh, titch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably use
Yeah.
smidgen. All right. Thank you very much, Gina. Les, your turn.
Alrighty. So Gina took something about the rotation, and I think that's something that's very important. So give that a go. The image is awesome, and I think one of the things that you could probably do to enhance it even more, Guy, is draw our eye into the center of the image. So perhaps where you've got the I'm guessing it's a walkway or something similar through the middle, brighten it up a little bit, and I think that will really draw our eye, because we've got the vignette there, so we're directed into the center. But if you can increase that just a touch, I think that will work really well.
Very nice. Thank you, Liz. And Mason.
I'm with everybody else on the rotation. I think squaring it up would help with the balance of the photo quite a bit. I really like the vignette. I'm a big fan of vignettes, and I think the vignette on this actually could be a little bit stronger to do what Les is talking about, just draw us more to the center. Other than that, I might pump up the green a little bit. I kind of like that it's got this sort of nuclear green off in the background, which is the top or the bottom. I'm not sure which direction we're looking. But there's also some green cast on the big round cylinders too, which if you pumped it up a little bit, it'd be kind of cool. So there you go.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Masters. What a great image to start off our first re-edit with this week. So, Stuart, you're get in touch with Guy. I know he's been watching. Hi, Guy. Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you very much, Mr. Guy Parks, for your first image. Right, so pretty much we're going to go straight into the Creation Wars now. The order, again, is David, Gina, Liz, and Mason. And if you could give us a brief description of the image that you're bringing today and the name of your apprentice, that would be great. We'll also get links for the other masters to see in the chat window, so if we want to look high res, Stu will drop those in for us. So fire away, David, you're up first. You're also a little bit muted.
Okay, let's see if I can do this screen share thing properly. Let's see. Tonight, I'm presenting images from one of my apprentices. This is Diana Boyd here, and this is a composite, a self-portrait and a tree composited together. When I first started working with Diana in our cohort, she was shooting images like this, more sort of realism, more stuff that all of us could see. But over the past couple of months working together, her interest has really been drawn to compositing. So she's been doing more stuff like this, overlaying textures and colors. They've gone very whimsical. although hopefully you guys can see this. This cow, this hay bale, these flowers, all separate photos merged together, and then the flowers are hand-painted. I'm hoping you can see my screen. And then composites like this. I love the edge detail here in the moon. But the photo I thought I would present tonight, one more before I get there. I love the pathway composite into the leaf here. So her work has been growing more and more conceptual, more and more complex in the layering. And so tonight's photo is this gorgeous conceptual piece of a cedar tree growing inside of a light bulb. And I just thought I'd zoom in here a little, hopefully you can see this, to show how smooth and how well she has fit these various puzzle pieces together. Diana Boyd of my community. Thanks.
Good work. Awesome stuff. Okay, Gina?
Yeah, really interesting work. I'm looking at the high-res image right now, and yeah, what a great difference to see it in the high-res. You really get to see the detail more now in the light bulb and see what's going on. And yeah, very nicely done. The tree, I can't find much that I'm seeing as far as that where it's a composite too much. For me, I would like to possibly see, and this is just a stylistic thing, you know, I'm not a composite photographer, but I'm thinking I would like to see maybe a little more use of shadow somewhere in the globe itself, or not in the glass, but in the base of the light bulb. It just feels a little flat, that's all. So I don't like to comment too much on composites because it's not my expertise, but that's just my general overall feeling right now to begin with. Other than that, very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Liz, your turn.
Cheers. I like this. I mean, I don't shoot a lot of this sort of thing at all, but I'm always drawn to it when I see it, and seeing the progression of work is really nice. I think, you know, where Gina was headed with that, I kind of line up with her in a sense. It would be nice to see a little extra detail on the glass itself, in a way, just to create some definition, and I think a shadow would work really nicely. Other than that, I think it sounds really good, and looks really good from what you're up to. And yeah, I like this, but I think some extra detail around the globe itself might actually help a little.
Good stuff. Thank you, Liz. And Mason.
It takes a lot of courage to do conceptual composite work, and I applaud her for the creativity. One of the problems I have with conceptual art is if I don't get the concept, I always feel kind of like I'm not getting the story, the joke. And so I don't know what this means, other than it's a tree and a light bulb, kind of like a ship in a bottle maybe, I don't know. But I'm with everybody else in that I wish I could see the glass better. And I think that had she shot this maybe on a red background or some other complementary color to the green of the tree, and had the glass would have, you know, really stood out from the background, would have been nice. And the tree is beautiful. So I think that her elements are really nice. It's just that the glass sphere itself gets sort of lost in the whiteness of it all. So I would like to have seen that, and I'd like to kind of hear from her what she was trying to say too.
Awesome. Thank you, Mason. Here's an idea. Maybe it's clean energy, or energy-saving light bulbs, or I don't know, something to do with the environment.
Nice.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to
If you're
talk.
going to burn trees in your light bulbs, Ollie, that's not very efficient.
True.
It could
true
be
that.
used trees, not light bulbs.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
David. Thank you very much
All right.
for sharing.
Releasing the screen share. Thank you.
Yep, that's good stuff. We'll come back to that screen share at the end when everyone does their judging. So, Gina, it's your turn to show us what you got.
All right, let me put my screen share here. And I'm bringing in Wayne Stadler. And Wayne, while I bring this up, is from Calgary, Canada. And he is... do you guys have my screen now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So Wayne's background has been, he's done a lot of web and graphic design over the last few years, but he's also been a drummer, a rock and roller for quite a while, and he's now pursuing travel and photography as his main focus. And he's fortunate enough to live in an area where there's lots of these beautiful abandoned landscapes, and in addition to that, he does dabble in some portrait work. But I love what he always has these interesting subjects to bring to our community, and he's tying in what I like. He's doing a lot of stuff where he's tying in some models into these locations where he's found these great abandoned places. This one here is completely different, which I love to share. He goes to Burning Man, and his gifting back is doing portraits for the guests at Burning Man. And it's really cool, I think, because he's developed this style where he has, it's like a studio, and at first you think it's a backdrop, but really it is Burning Man in the background that's going on, and I think that's pretty exciting. But that's not the photo I'm going to bring in tonight. The photo I'm bringing tonight is, well, now let's see here. Stu, help me out.
Put it in the chat, so if people want to click that while you're doing your thing.
Yeah, they can click that while I bring it up, but he has a great, sorry guys, I thought it was up. I'm going to have to switch back here and grab it. Not cool for live viewing, sorry. I was relying on Stu way too much tonight.
There you go. I've got it there for you.
You got it?
Yep, if people want to click on my box, that's fine.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Stu.
Got it.
Anyway, so let's go to that. You guys see it? Because I'm seeing Creation Ward's logo.
If I can see it on Stu's window.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
I think we might have lost Ollie
Coming
here.
up. Oh, we're all falling apart. Let's see.
Yeah, carry on just now, Gina, and Ollie will join again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, here's the image, finally. So this image is just really interesting to me. He's got tons of stuff where he finds these abandoned cars in these great places, and I just really loved this one. I loved the shape of the car and the clouds and the processing he did on it with bringing these colors in the clouds to match up the car. I just thought were really cool, and something about the positioning in the car that I really liked. It feels like it's leading along those same lines as the clouds, and I just thought it was a really strong image. So I am presenting you this Visit of an Old Friend, I believe is the title of it, and by Wayne Stadler.
Awesome, good stuff. Okay, David, you're up first, buddy.
Well, I think this is a fabulous, fabulous, colorful image. A great subject. I love the angle of the old car in the frame, and there's so much texture and detail in the grass. But I almost wonder if the bright grasses in the lower right and this sort of soft focus grass dead center bottom right, if those could be cloned or content aware healed out. Especially this bright spot right there, bottom center, seems to pull my eye in a little more than I wish it would. But boy, what a fabulous sunset and a great scenic spot. Lovely.
Thank you, David. Liz.
Love the image. I am drawn to these types of images quite a lot. You know, my cohort will say that a little bit. A little, you know, there are a couple of things that I suppose we could work on. I think the overall feeling is very nice. You've got awesome leading lines, and it's repeated in several layers in the image, and that works really well. But there are a couple of little things that kind of trigger, I'm not sure, and that's the overall, I suppose, exposure of the image itself. It feels like it needs to be bumped up a little bit, and maybe that will offset a little of what David was just talking about, because I do agree with what he was saying. The feeling is very nice, but I'd kind of just wish there was a bit more exposure in it.
Okay, thank you, Liz. And Mason, you're up.
You know, it is a beautiful shot. I'm going to go and echo what David said about the grasses along the bottom. I find them really powerful. You know, bright spot. I just go right there. And for me, I love rusty things. I'm a fan of rusted equipment, old cars like this. But one of the problems with a situation like this is that I'm guessing there was some blue sky off to his right behind him, because that car is picking up a lot of blue. And I think that if you went in and adjusted, went in and painted some color correction on that car, he could bring up the yellow and really make that rust pop, and then my eye wouldn't be so drawn by other things, because I think the sky and the grass is really compelling. The car, for as fascinating as the subject matter is sort of lost in this because it's a bit dull, it's a bit blue. And so for me, if he warmed it up, it would match the scene better. I also think that when you're in a situation like this and you're shooting a beautiful sunset with rain in the background, I mean, it's all these great elements. You really have to be careful about the things that are intruding on the edge of your frame, like these blades of grass that are so close to the camera that they're really dull, they're really out of focus. I think those are the types of things you kind of swish your foot out there and move them away. Because they are really hard to clone out without making that grass down there look funky. So just a few tips. Otherwise, I love the composition. I think it's a great shot, great subject matter.
Good stuff. Thank you, Masters.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for sharing, Gina. And Liz, it's your turn.
Okie dokie. Today I have an apprentice that's he's at level 6 at the moment. Randy Stifer is our apprentice that I'm working with. He has a website that I'll send you to. Go and have a look at it. It's conservephoto.com. He has all his social links there as well, so it's everything is there about him. A couple of images that he's been showing in the cohort, as well as one that I like. This is the style of work that he's shooting. His images, are all nature-oriented, landscape, animals, and so on. This one coming up, he showed in a critique as well, critique preparation, and it's nice. It's the feeling that you get from his images. This one was another one that had some nice work and comments from our cohort while we were working on the images. Now, the two images that I've been looking at for Randy was this one, and I like this a lot, but I think this one is a little different to what people have seen previously with the Creation Wars. And the awesome thing about this is, if you don't know, these are coots, and they're quite a challenge to get doing something other than sitting or running away from you. And he's done a superb job here with the reflections and the exposure and so on of the coots themselves. So Randy Stifer, and this is his image.
Good stuff. Thank you, Liz. David, you're up.
Boy, what fabulous bird photography, and birds are so difficult. Of things I don't aim the camera at, birds are high on the list. Too frustrating for me. These coots, I love the symmetry and the reflection that we have here. I think the depth of field is just fantastic, with the eye really drawn to the front one, and the back one soft but still recognizable, and just the sort of opposites, the flip, the mirror imaging is just fabulous. If I could change anything, I wonder if the nose of the coot in front, it feels just a tiny bit hot to me, but that may just be on the screen. But maybe just darken it down a little, and maybe try and put just a little more light, a little soft spotlight right around that front coot's face. But really a wonderful photo, and I bet there are hundreds or thousands of frames that didn't work out this well, based on my frustrating experiences with birds.
Thank you, David. Gina.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with David on all those remarks, and what I really love is just the contrast of the black of the bird and the white beak, and then the beautiful reflections of the blue and gold in the water, and just the repeating pattern of the way the water is moving is really compelling. And yeah, it's amazing the moment in time that was able to be captured with them in the opposite directions and lined up so well. It's lovely. I mean, if he had been any lower, I think, you know, I love the spacing between the two. That amount of distance between the two to me feels really good. I think for me, really, it's a totally just nitpicky thing, and it's not even anything to fix. It's just a personal choice. So I might want to just see it a little bit warmer in the golden tones. And really, to be honest, that's it. I'm not going to try and find things that I don't think are there to critique just for the sake of critiquing. So really, beautiful shot. Well done.
Okay, Mason, fire away.
You know, I'm going to echo what everyone else has said. Bird photography is something that takes a lot of practice and patience and, you know, amazing predictable attitude. You know, you kind of have to know these birds really well. And like Les was saying, coots and birds like this don't pose. You know, they're not going to sit there for you and wait for you to figure out your game. So kudos to this guy for nailing focus, exposure, composition, all of the things we would look for in a great bird photo. I too wish there was a little bit more detail in the darker parts of the face, but that's the nature of this bird, right? He's not getting much reflected light on the eye and on the part of his face there, and it's a dark black bird, so it's a tough one. It does have great catch light in the eye. I actually think the only problem I have with this photo is that it's not the photo that I'm bringing this week. So I think all these photos are great. Do I have to participate this week? I mean, can I just be like Dino and just say nice things? And
there is absolutely no way you're getting out of losing again. So that is for your submission. And Mason, you're up.
Stu, that is exactly the lead-in I needed, because I'm sure this is fixed. Absolutely. So I'm up now, huh? All right. Yeah. Just so everyone knows that's watching, all four of you, this is my fourth time on the Creation Wars, and I've never won. I think there are very few people that can say that. So I'm proud of that. So we'll see if I can keep my streak going. Anyway, I want to introduce you guys to one of my apprentices and a friend of mine. His name is Bruce Rosensteel, and this is his website. And I wanted, you know, I could sit and click through a lot of his photos, but the truth is, it's a very big, long list of photos that I think he's done very, very well, very recently. And in December, he went to India for a couple of weeks and traveled around India, and that's something that Bruce does quite often. He'll go to a country and just sort of wander with the people, and he specializes in travel and wildlife and some nature photos as well, some landscapes. And so his website is smallworldphotos.net. And instead of showing you a bunch of his images, I'll just send you there, because you really need to get a cup of coffee and sit down and travel the world with Bruce, because he's got an amazing sensibility. He can get people to be comfortable and natural around him and candid. And so I've been eagerly waiting to get Bruce's photos on the Creation Wars. I've got a lot of wonderful apprentices that I adore. Bruce is level 17, by the way, and he's also in the path of the protege. So if you're in the antechamber waiting to be chosen by a master, and Bruce's photos appeal to you, make sure your application is complete and hang in there. It's a couple more months, and you'll be able to maybe throw your chips Bruce's way and get in his cohort, because I can't wait for him to start up as a master. I think he's an amazing teacher. He's a wonderful photographer. So that's his website. I also wanted to share one other photo. I asked him to contribute 2 photos today that he found that he wanted to put forward for Creation Wars, and this is the one that he actually liked the best, and it's from his trip to India. Both of these photos are, and he really liked this potter, and I really love the photo too. It's really hard to choose the photo today. This one had such nice light and such interesting subject matter. Look at that man's hands. I mean, how long has he been squatted in that position at that wheel making these vases or whatever they are, these containers in the sun. It's just amazing. It's a place that I've never been, and when I look at Bruce's photos, I feel like I'm there, and I just love this shot. But that's not the shot I like the best from his trip to India. There's one today. As soon as I saw it, I was sort of wowed, and here it is. It's from a stepwell, which is a term I just learned today. Evidently in India, to access the water, they've built these areas where you step down to the water source. And this particular one is exceptionally deep. It's 20 meters deep. And so there's hundreds and hundreds of steps that lead down into this well. And Bruce, like a lot of great street and travel photographers, found an interesting subject and waited for a person to come in and make it complete. And he lucked out and got this beautifully clad, bright-colored woman coming down to the well. So I respectfully submit this for your consideration. This is the work of Bruce Rosensteel, level 17 apprentice, and soon to be master in the Arcanum.
Exciting. I'm back, by the way. Thank you, Mason, for sharing. David, your critique.
Wow. Well, Mason, you used the word luck in getting this photo, but I'm going to say I don't think there's any luck involved here. This is skill and artistry, the symmetry, the repetition of those staircases, the light, the pose, and the moment are just wonderful. And actually, it's a pleasure to see this one with Ollie on here, because I've been watching his fabulous movie on the decisive moment in my critique. I think we watched. I think I shared it with the community about a month ago. And this is a wonderful moment. Her position in the frame leads the eye up and down those staircases. I just love this. Fabulous.
I'm not allowed to say anything, but I think you're exactly right. Thank you, David. Gina.
Yes, again, I agree with David, and Mason, I want to congratulate you for bringing such a beautiful photo to us, and the previous one as well was even so awesome. I thought that was going to be our choice, but this is a great selection too, and yeah, a lot going on in the photo. While there's a lot going on in the photo, there's not much, which is really neat too, because it's this image of this woman, you know, and she probably is there God knows how many, times. I don't know if this is a daily thing that she does or what, but it's definitely a compelling thought to, to see that this is where she lives and how she has to approach getting water or getting to water, whatever it is. As far as the technical parts of it go, of course, it's fantastic. Sharp focus and all kinds of great exposure in the lines, and the positioning is great. I love that kind of a 3/4 off to the right look, and to help us see the stairs in a way. I think a lot of people may have, now I don't know where the water is and if you could actually shoot it straight on, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people tried to just shoot it straight on and they wouldn't get those beautiful angles of the stairs. The only thing that I would love to see more of, because there's so much texture on these walls, to bring out the texture a little bit more in the photo, and maybe enhance that a bit, with a little bit more saturation and just a little bit of texturing, and that's it really for me. Other than that, good job, Mason. You brought a strong one in.
Thank you, Gina. Liz.
Wow, this is I've been looking and thinking, now where do we go with this, and I love the feeling of it, and the lines and so on. Everything that's been said so far is, I will echo that, Bruce. It really works here. I'll be super nitpicky, and I'll go along with what Gina is saying as well, and it would be awesome to see some extra detail, a little in your shadows and a little extra in some of the highlights. I think that would just pop without competing with the woman walking down the stairs, and I think that would make a difference. The final thing, and again, nothing you can do about it, but my eye was drawn to it straight away, and I have no idea why, but the top left-hand corner, everything else seems really nicely balanced, and you've got symmetry happening, and for whatever reason, my eye was drawn to the top left-hand corner with the top of the stairs. I don't know why, nothing you can do, but it's just a comment, I suppose. Very nice image.
All right. Well, thank you, Masters, for your sharing and all your feedback. It's pretty exciting to see some completely different images again today, so that's great. So what we're going to do now is everyone gets a chance to share their images one more time, and I like to unofficially call this the rebuttal, and that's the bit where you get to kind of counter what other people have said about your image that you brought today. So, Masters, this is your chance to stand up for yourself and your apprentice. And we're going to start with Mason. So if you could all share your screens again with the image that you've brought along today, that would be great. And by the way, just while you're doing that, according to my show schedule, we are bang on time. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. So, right, Mason, your turn to fire back.
Well, normally I would spend a lot of time telling you a tale of woe about how hard my apprentice worked to get this photo and how hard their life has been. But I'll tell you, you know, even though Bruce had dysentery and a bunch of other problems while he made this photo and could barely walk, you know, this is the type of work he makes every single time he goes out. He's very consistent. He's exactly the type of apprentice we hope for in the Arcanum, and I know he's going to make a wonderful master. I think that the strength of this photo, though, isn't in who shot it, but what it tells, and it transports us to an exotic place that most of us can't even imagine, not being able to just turn on a faucet and get water. I can't imagine walking up and down those stairs with pots and clay containers filled with water every day just to make food or wash. And so looking at this type of photo really makes me appreciate what I have, but also appreciate the beauty of this culture, their bright clothing and their wonderful architecture. You know, it's a whole other world, and I think that's one of the strengths of photography is it can take us there without leaving home. So, and the rest of the photos are great too, but this one's pretty amazing.
Thank you, Mason. Liz.
Thanks, Ollie. I think this is an image of a common bird. There's no denying that, but I think in the commonality of this species, Randy's done an awesome job with the light and having the second bird moving in the opposite direction and the detail that he's managed to get in the whole image itself is something that I do admire. I shoot a lot of birds, not actually shoot them, but photograph a lot of birds, and this, I take my hat off to him because he's done a really nice job here.
Very good. Thank you, Liz. Gina.
Yeah, so Wayne has shown me so many great shots of abandoned cars, and this one just stands out to me. One of the comments that was made during the critique about the grass maybe being a little too distracting, I kind of disagree a little bit, because what it does for me is it shows how, for me, it just makes me feel like that car's been there even longer. You know, it just shows how many years, in addition to the rust, that it was there. And we did have a wider crop on it, where maybe the grass might not have been quite as distracting, but brought the focus in on the car. And of course, he shared with me some of the pre-images and the processing throughout, and he just did an amazing job of really choosing the colors well, as far as the sky and the clouds complementing the rust of the car itself. And it's just a great story of time, what happens to things over time, and how they could still be beautiful, even though they may not have much real use for anything purposeful anymore, but it creates a way of us seeing something beautiful, and Wayne does an amazing job of finding these things, so that's why I love this photo so much.
Awesome stuff. And David, you're up last.
Well, first I want to thank all the others for the gorgeous photos they've shared with us tonight. Truly tremendous work and a wonderful diversity of photography. I think for me, one of my heroes in photography is Jerry Uelsman, the darkroom master. And when I've been looking through Diana's photos from my cohort here, I keep coming back to one or two of my favorite quotes from Jerry Uelsman, who I'm sure some of you know creates all sorts of wonderful photos from his imagination. And one of my favorite Uelsman quotes says, "The camera is licensed to explore." And my other favorite is that when he starts putting these together, that he tries to work with no preconceived ideas, because there are no uninteresting things, just uninteresting people. And I think this is a photo of two ordinary objects put together in a way that I would never have envisioned. Thank you.
Nice, thank you, Masters. So if you could all unscreen share now, we've put a link to your judging opportunity in the chat, so please follow that, preferably not while you're sharing your screen, because then everyone will see who you're judging, who you're choosing as the least uninteresting person who's come along today. So Stu, understand that we may have the re-edit from Guy. Has that come in, has it?
Yes, so while people are voting, I'll just fire this across in the chat now for the masters to see, and I will just screen share it myself.
So while we're doing that, Jack, do you have any feedback from the Twitterverse currently going on? Any chat out there?
It's going bonkers over here, Ollie. I'm just having fun trying to keep up with all the chit-chat coming in. We got the viewer's choice going on. That's going on right now. Everybody needs to get their last votes in.
Jack. Jack, can you hear me?
You there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Oh, I can hear you.
Can you
so yeah, I can hear both of us too. How does someone go and vote for the People's Choice? How does that work?
So we've got the link in the community managers cohort. We have the link on Twitter. We have the link in the post on Google Plus and the post on Facebook. And I can actually share it here in our chat if we'd like. Everybody can go there, click on it. That's exactly right, Stu. You can vote basically anywhere. Send me a smoke signal. I'll get it. It's okay. But yeah, we've got voting all over the place.
Can I just remind you, Masters, that you have 5 talents to give away. You may give 3 to any one master, but you have to give all 5 away, and you have to give 0 to yourself. So if you haven't figured that out by now, consider yourself uninvited for next time.
Mason, you did that right, Mason. You've been on them.
This is the most complicated part of any photography contest I've ever been on.
I don't think that's safe for the others.
Once you guys have judged, add your scores in, please pop back and have a look at Stuart's screen, which I'm sharing at the moment, which has got the re-edit from Guy Parks.
Link is in the chat as well.
Yeah, links in the chat. Has Guy sent any words along with it, like, I don't know what you guys are on about, or something like that?
Well, he hasn't. But I think we're just pleased that it all worked and it arrived back in time.
Yeah, well done, Guy. That was good work.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. He did it.
So if you have finished judging, I'm going to go away and tally up the votes. Could you just give us a re-critique and let us know if he's sort of on the right track?
Do you want us to go in order, Ali?
No, just go whenever you're ready.
I'll jump in, I suppose.
It looks like he incorporated pretty much everything we said, huh?
You know, you guys probably already voted, but David and Gina, you're stepping on each other, so you might want to think about re-voting. So just three points to my person would be great.
Go ahead, David. You go first.
Sorry, I apologize. And Mason, I so feel for you. I think the re-edit here is great. Perhaps the blue in the windows is a little soft now. Maybe with more time, the windows on the right could be filled a little more elegantly. But I definitely think we're on the right track here. And boy, I just think this is such a powerful image. Great work, and I love seeing how it keeps evolving.
Yeah, I agree with you, David. And to be honest, now I'm actually noticing something I didn't notice before. And it's in both the bottom right pillar and the upper left pillar. And I kind of was thinking about it a little bit when I didn't say it before, but now for some reason it's standing out, and that could be because you pumped up the greens a little bit. But I'm wondering if Guy cloned out the lamps on these others. It looks like there's just a bit of like a big clone stamp, and I don't know, something going on in there that we've lost the detail, or I don't think it's the pillar, but I'm not sure. And hopefully everyone knows what I'm talking about there. If it's about the equal distance where a lamp would be if it were on that pillar on the bottom right quadrant. But I think that green works well, Mason. I think that was a great suggestion. I like the green, how it came up.
Is Les still here?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. No, I was just waiting. Yeah, I think everything that's been said so far is good. The only thing for me now is it just feels a little soft. It feels like we've lost some. I was going to say the word smudge. It feels like it's just been smudged a little bit, and the detail that was there before just feels like it's been removed, and a strength that, for one of the reasons that I particularly like the image, the strength of the detail and so on is now gone, and if we can kind of draw back just a little, I think that will work, because it's heading in the right direction, but now we've gone a little bit too far, and maybe just peg it back a touch.
Peg it back a smidge. That's awesome. Great technical terms there from the masters today. Were you looking at the one that's been shared on the internet, or did you go into the high-res? I'm just wondering whether Google has smidged it down a smidge.
No, I'm looking at the high-res, yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Stu, you're going to have to...
Yeah. The high-res to me looks actually smudgier than the one I'm seeing on the Hangout. But now that Gina has mentioned this anomalous smudge on the bottom right-hand silo, I don't know what this is. I can't take my eyes off it. I'm really curious if there was a lamp there or something that he cloned out. You can see there's a seam in the material that makes up this cylinder, and it's broken by this thumbprint size smudge. And I'd love to know from Guy what's going on there, if that was on the structure itself or if that's something that he did. I like that the greens are pumped up. I think that is a good plus, but everything does seem really lost in detail. It's very on the high-res one especially, it's very watercolory looking. So.
Okay, we'll see if Guy can get back to us on that. But Stuart's stopped sharing, so unless I can open up. Here we go. Okay, so Masters, give me 30 seconds while I do some tallying. Talk amongst yourselves. If you have any news, now's a good time.
I've got a question for everyone about some news. What do people think about the supposed new Canon 5DS with the 50 megapixel sensor? People interested, uninterested?
I've got one right here. I've been testing.
Did they take the mirror out of it yet, or no?
No. But it's according to some sites, it might have a Sony sensor in it, but no, it's still got the mirror.
I think cameras.
What do you think?
Go ahead, David.
I think cameras like this. Apologies. I was trying to go in order. I think cameras like this, if true, should come with a warning sticker on the box that says, "Your computer cannot handle this."
Yeah.
Yes, please update everything that's around this camera.
It should come bundled with a 12 terabyte drive, right? As a Canon shooter, I'm excited by the uppage of having a high-res sort of landscape camera, and that's all I see this camera being based on the specs. It's really it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a good low light performer. I think that it's going to be all about sitting on a tripod with lots of light doing landscape shots, and there are some people out there that would love to have that 50 megapixels for that, and I'm one of them. I think it'd be nice to have that from time to time. The unfortunate thing is, I'm sure they're going to charge a fortune for this camera, and I don't think they're going to sell as many of them as they'd like because people are waiting for the 5D Mark IV, and now the rumors are starting to swirl that that's the one that's going to have a modest sensor bump as far as megapixels, but it's going to be a killer low light performer and all of that. And then add on to all of that the fact that Sony is probably going to come out with something that will rock the world with probably the same sensor. It's probably going to be a 50 megapixel mirrorless camera that we can hook onto our Canon lenses, and so why go spend $4,000 on a Canon DSLR that's really only good for landscapes when you can just throw a mirrorless on the lens and bolt that down. So that's my 2 cents.
It's a very interesting battle, that DSLR market, and there are arguments for and against the approach that Canon are making. I'm a Canon shooter too, but to be honest, it doesn't really excite me, as some of the other cameras that have come out recently have excited me, but not to the point of selling all my lenses and changing. Right, so it is now 3:52 my time, and that's 2 minutes past our scheduled time of announcing this week's winner. If I had a drum roll, I'd drum it. If I had any way of lengthening out this process, I would. But it's been a very interesting battle this week, and I thank all the masters for bringing yet another amazing set of images.
Yeah, he just
I have frozen. I'm just pausing.
That was good, Ollie.
The winner this week is Mason. Well done,
Yes! Yes! Oh, Bruce!
Oh, Mason.
For the first attempt, Mason hacking out. His first ever Creation Wars title, and he owes us all a round of drinks. Thank you, Mason.
I don't know where this 5 comes from. I've only been on the show 4 times.
Oh, well.
I think Tonya started this idea that I've lost 5 times in a row. I've only lost 3 times in a row, and now I finally have a victory, which means I'm a 20% winner, according to my math.
You missed the pilot episode.
My wife downstairs just corrected me. 25% winner, which means I'm moving towards a half loser, which is great.
The glass is 25% full. Is that what you're saying?
It's 75% full of disappointment, though.
Well done, Mason. You did good.
Thank you, everybody, for your votes. Bruce is well deserving of the victory. It's not my victory; it's Bruce's. All the losses are on me. The victory's on my apprentice.
Good work. Couldn't agree more.
Well
actually.
said, Mason.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone quiet.
It's an honor to witness Mason's first loss.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's one more loss for me, so I'm still behind you, Mason.
Yeah, you'll never catch up in the losing column, probably. But.
I think it's up to 6 now, isn't it, Mason?
6 losses?
Yeah, 6 losses now. I'll just go and manually edit it. All right. Well, we are 5 minutes ahead of schedule, which is pretty amazing. It's probably because our good friend Gino isn't here, and it's pretty much. If you're going to do a scientific study, I think that we've just confirmed that Gino wastes an awful lot of time. But we do miss you, buddy, and it was a lot of fun having you on the show. And People's Choice, over to Thatch.
Yes, it was a clean sweep for Mason this week. He has won the People's Choice Award as well. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice.
That might be the first time
Mason,
that
you can
both
add
of
that under your win column.
Yeah, now I've got 2 wins, right?
Yeah, does that make him 2 and 3 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Sounds
See, it
better.
gets better and better.
2 and 3 is 5, plus the 3 losses he's already had. So he's got 2 wins and 8 losses. So well done, Mason.
Thank you, everybody. I don't know how this is getting worse by the minute, but anyway.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to head off into the after party. This is where Stu and his magic in the post-production world will push an end to the show. And thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. It's been a great fun having you on episode 11. Who knows who will be hosting the show next time? Although next week is The Gathering, which is the first ever Arcanum-wide Google Hangout, which is going to be an awful lot of fun. But yeah, episode 12 of the Creation Wars could be tried. Claire could take it for a week. That'd be good. But thank you all for joining us, and see you next time.
Bye.
Cheers, Ollie.
Bye.